Well, do you need a clean sheet on your table?
Please, yes.
Okay, it's set to record, so I'm gonna close this.
Okay.
This is wonderful.
Do you want your drum behind you? Or?
It's good.
Okay.
This is good.
And I'll smile this time.
Oh, that's good.
I'll do this the whole time.
No, don't do that. Okay, all right. Let's
Do I
see.
need to button my top
I
button?
think you're good. I think you're good.
All right. Different shirt.
I like the shirt. It's
Thank you.
very nice. Okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. Hello everyone, this is Billie, Topa, Tate. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. Today we're going to talk about this wonderful healing modality called Reiki Phowa. This is something I designed when I took a trip to India and was inspired by a Reiki Phowa master to combine the Native American principles with the Tibetan ideals and the healing power of Reiki. We have a lot of wonderful information on our website, which is msi-healing.com. And I have with me today our instructor, Chuck Killman, and he's going to talk a little bit about how he teaches the Reiki Phowa in our classes, which are actually coming up soon. Chuck, do you want to talk a little bit about the Reiki Phowa?
Sure, I'd be glad to. First of all, thank you for helping me to learn these skills. They're very, very important. I should say that I've been working with hospice patients for a number of years now, and until I learned the Reiki Phowa, I found it very, very frustrating sometimes when people were about to transition and I didn't feel that I had the necessary skills to help them make a relatively peaceful transition, if you will. So learning the Reiki Phowa really made a considerable difference. And I've had family members say the same thing to me. Whether or not they were understanding of the energy work that I was using, they were very grateful for the fact that their family members seemed to be calmer as they were about to let go. And in many cases, the people that I worked with were very interested in what I had to offer. Sometimes though, when they were in a coma, for example, or when they were suffering from such severe dementia, I couldn't really talk to them about the way that I wanted to help them, but was still able to do so, both being physically present and also doing the distance healing as well. So it's really, really been powerful, and I'm very grateful to not only know the techniques, but to be able to share them with others.
Can you talk about the 4 situations in Reiki Phowa?
Sure.
And also your experience that you have respective to some of the things you do in hospice.
Sure. The 4 different situations where you would use the Reiki Phowa include, first of all, someone who has actually come to you as they know that they're dying, but they're not actively dying yet. So, and in some ways I think that's an ideal situation because they ask for your help and are actively participating in the process of being able to let go. That doesn't always happen, of course. There are times when a family member would ask me to work with someone who is actively dying, may or may not be aware, and I certainly do that. And I found that it's very helpful for the family as well as the person who's about to transition. For people who have suddenly transitioned, an accident, heart attack, for example, it can be very, very helpful as they go through that very confusing period where they've made the transition and aren't quite sure what has happened to them. And then finally, for people, and I should say companion animals, who have transitioned recently or even some years ago, it can still be a very valuable tool to send healing energy to those people in the spirit world. And I'm really, as I said, I'm very grateful to have these techniques.
That's so good. And Chuck has a wonderful background also And we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. I do want you to know that the Native American principles that we incorporate, some of the aspects are the blessing circle that the family members can actually participate in to send a lot of blessings and wonderful, warm thoughts, kind thoughts to the person who is dying. And I have been in many situations in hospital settings and hospice and also home settings where administering the Reiki Phowa really helps to guide that wonderful light around that person so they feel very comforted in their transition. We're going to ask Chuck about his background in hospice.
Well, as I mentioned before, I've worked in hospice for the better part of 6 years. I worked for 2 different agencies. I've worked with, I'm not quite sure now, but dozens of people who have had a variety of illnesses, as I mentioned, who may or may not participate in the process of sending them healing energy as they're about to let go. But I feel like it's a very, very important tool to have to use with people because it's such a difficult time, not only for the person who's about to transition, but certainly for the family. And when they see that their loved one is calmer and more receptive, if you will, I'm not sure that's the best word, to letting go, they're very appreciative. If anything, that was something that surprised me most of all, how grateful family members were for the healing that we collectively were able to offer their loved one as they were about to let go. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do it. It's a very meaningful part of my life.
And Chuck does an absolutely fabulous job teaching the Reiki Phowa here at MSI. And also, there are so many wonderful pieces of information just from the people who attend the class, sharing their beautiful experiences with their loved ones. We know that when someone is in the process of dying, this is a very sacred journey. We want to assist them in very wonderful ways. So there is the Reiki Phowa that administers the Reiki, the healing power of Reiki, but also the Native American principles of allowing for empowerment and comfort and peace to be part of that situation as well. So we really welcome you to take the class. After you take the Reiki Phowa practitioner class, you're welcome to contemplate teaching the Reiki Phowa, because we do have that opportunity here at MSI as well. So I thank you so very much for being with me today. It's a pleasure and an honor. We hope to see you soon, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's really good to see you.
Thank you, Billie.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Think we did it?
I hope so. Talk about squeezing it in just in time, right?
No, that was wonderful. We did perfect.
Good.
Just
Okay.
perfect. And I love this. I thought I'd pick up the cup, and we did great, Mo. This is wonderful. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.